Meeting of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission will now come to order. Oh, let's see. Mr. Mike Kilmer, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Mr. Secretary, give us a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Seat A, Chucky Sherman.
Here.
Seat B, Tom Pete, absent. Seat C, Jimmy LaFont.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney Disclair.
Here.
Seat E, Reggie Leday.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Bellisol.
Here.
Seat H, Mike Kelly here. Seat I, Chris Kelly.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Culley. Next, we have approved minutes for March 13, 2024 and March 27, 2024 meeting. I need a motion.
Move.
Moved by John Melison, second by Mike Culley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have Executive Director's Report. Mr. Shafson.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is our Northern Expansion Slip D bulkhead, GIS engineering. No GIS engineering.
No GIS.
All right.
All right.
So we have, this is 1,600 linear feet of bulkhead that we're going to be bidding out in the next several weeks.
Yes.
All right. We've been talking about this project for a long time. We had bid it out before. We had to redesign and change our numbers in terms of linear footage.
So we start in a couple of weeks on that.
We should advertise in a
In a
few
couple
weeks.
of weeks. We advertise.
Yes.
All right.
Any other questions?
You did
All right.
that well, Director.
All right. Airport projects, the aircraft operations.
Aircraft operations for last month, 1,536. We had 11,193 passengers and 18,168 vehicles visit the airport.
All right, any questions for Davey? Okay, the Airport Connector Road and Bridge, PCOLA and Associates.
So Sea Level Construction continues to work on the project. They poured concrete on the upper machinery deck on the LA1 side. Right now, they're in the process of breaking those concrete forms out. They're gonna begin shortly doing the aprons, the approach aprons on each side, as far as concrete work goes. And then they're also starting to work on the asphalt tie-in on the 308 side. They continuing to work a little bit on the control house, but they've made a lot of good progress with that. That's almost nearly complete. And they are working off-site on machinery. The machinery is progressing along well. They have the 4 main supports for the shivs complete, and they're doing heat treatment, and then the shivs are nearing completion right now. So they are progressing.
Okay. Any questions for Joe?
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. All right, the PAPI LED upgrades, we did get the regulator, that was installed, and we are waiting on the FAA flight check in a few weeks before we can completely finalize this project. Any questions on that? Okay, the fuel system rehabilitation. Dave, you want to grab that one?
Yeah, fuel rehab, Volute is the low bid. We signed all the contracts. We've given him a notice to proceed March 25th. He's ordered materials. He's not going to start until the fuel tanks actually physically come in. And that way we'll have a short time of being shut down with fuel. That's probably October timeframe is what we're looking at. 30 to 45 days it'll take him to swap out that equipment.
All right. Any questions on that project? All right, and the FBO terminal project.
FBO terminal project, we're looking at receiving bids on our new terminal May the 2nd.
All right, and while we're talking about the terminal, maybe we weren't exactly clear as to where the location is going to be with everybody. So that facility is going to be built on the south side of the airport road. I'm forgetting what the official name of that road is.
King Air near the
King
electrical.
Air, right.
Near the
So
electrical
King
pole.
Air Drive. So it's going to be on the south side of it's up there.
Yeah.
Should have looked at the picture. It's the south side of King Air Drive, just to the south of the electrical vaults that we have there. We'd already have the tarmac is already paved to where we're gonna be building it to connect it to. And then we had already elevated and surcharged all the land. So it's ready for construction.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? All right, other projects. The Leeville LA1 construction canal dredging and mitigation, Angелette Design.
All right, Coastal Dredge is the contract on this project. They have about 80% of the project complete now. About 12 days ago, they did encounter a pipeline that the state was supposed to have removed and didn't. At that point, the dredge shut down and we turned to the state. The state brought in their contractor, removed the pipeline along with a number of other pipeline remnants that they found in that last area off to the north. As of 6 o'clock this morning, the dredge did start back up, but they were down for about 12 days. We think they'll be done probably in about the next 4 to 5 weeks. The dredge should be complete.
Okay.
All right. It's looking good. Past the other day, it's looking real good.
Good.
All right.
You had another comment, Bryce?
Yeah, we also have a partial substantial completion to approve on an additional
1,500.
1,500 feet.
Yeah, so that's later on the agenda.
Yeah, it's later on the agenda, but we do recommend approval of that, and that'll take them all the way up to the spot where the dredge is right now, which is another 1,500 feet that we can turn over to the state.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions? All right, the Ducks Unlimited Leeville and Fouchon Terracing and Living Shoreline Project. Again, this project is organized by Ducks Unlimited and among many other organizations that are helping to fund this. The Port Commission is involved, the Fouche Parish government's involved as well. But we have these ridges that are being recreated. That's between the Loop Booster Station, or just to the east of the Loop Booster Station, south of the LA1 highway. I didn't get an answer on how they got the barge in there yet, but I will get that for you as
How
soon
you
as I
got it,
can.
bro?
Oh, Bryce has, Davey
got
has
it.
it.
So the contractor is Wilson Coastal Development, which used to be Wilco Marsh Buggy. Wilson Coastal Development is the contractor, and they did float the barge in from Old Bayou Moro section. They did have to have loop there when they floated over the loop pipeline area, so they did float the barge in.
Okay.
Nice.
All
All right.
right. That's good to know.
And then there's also work taking place in actual terracing, and that's on the east side of Old LA1 between Fouchon and Leeville. You can see that work taking place, and it's going by so there's a good picture of that as well.
Yeah, so that's a fine example of
That's the one I've
private
been looking
public
for over a
partnership.
month now, that picture. That's
Yeah.
a nice one.
It's good.
Yeah,
A lot of work
good.
taking place, and they're still continuing. And they're looking for more funding to do even more in that area.
Okay.
All right. Okay. The next project is the LA1 Elevated Highway Project. That project, again, a $463 million project. And it is going along very well. James Construction, our Primoris Construction Group, is working very diligently there. And that's the whole point of us trying to give back some of, release some of those areas on the south side so they can bring a second crew. So they can get this project done before. And their goal is to get it done before their, kind of late 2027 deadline. But you can see some of that work that's taking place. Top-down construction type of work where they're, only the footprint of those pilings are impacting the area.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions? Okay, Hurricane Ida repair projects, the Fouchon Beach, Angela Design.
All right, we did receive one bid last week on the project. Later on the agenda, we have for your consideration rejecting that one bid. It did come in substantially over budget, as well as they had a qualification in their bid that Bryce and I believe would disqualify them also. I have been talking to, administration about this, also with the contractors that we think are interested in bidding the project, how to make it more appealing to them so we can attract at least 2 or 3 bidders when we do put this out for bid again. One of the things we're going to do is separate this into 2 projects where we'll do a rock repair project to repair the existing 12 jetties that are out there. I think that'll attract a good number of bidders in itself, and separate out the work on the beach as a separate project that we'll let out for bid in a couple of months. That rock project should be out for bid probably before the next port meeting.
And like we mentioned Monday night, the other thing we're doing is the additional 10 breakwaters that we were going to add to the 12 we currently have out there, we're going to remove from the project because with discussions with CPRA, their plan is to do some work and work with us on getting breakwaters from the East Jetty for 5 miles going east, which would include those 10 that we were planning to install. So that'll reduce the scope of the project and then separate it out so that, you know, the different types of contractors could be, could want to bid on those projects.
And more contractors.
Yes, correct.
All right.
All right, any questions? Thank you, Neil.
All right, thank you.
All right, the airport hangar replacement project, Davey.
Airport hangar replacement, final plans are done. Fire marshal's reviewing that. As soon as we get fire marshal approval, we'll put them out for bid to replace that hangar.
All right,
All right.
any questions? That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chasson. Next, we have public comment. Mr. Lorraine, you got 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry. Members of the council, I just want to come here and let you guys know that Hurricane Ida destroyed the Leeville boat launch, fishing pier, kayak dock, whole 9 yards. Once that happened, the parish was able to put this boat launch in operation for about $160,000. So people could use it, but it was all devastated to the south. But fortunately, I was able to make friends with Senator Cassidy, know him personally, and I had discussed it with him about if he could help us out. And I came to you guys for some assistance, but we didn't need it because Senator Cassidy took care of the whole thing, $1.2 million. So you got a new pier, you got a new boat launch, you got a new, it's beautiful. And to use it, you don't have to pay a toll. But anyway, what I'm here for is at the council meeting on March 26th, we were able to pass 3 resolutions. Very nice, unanimous vote. First, resolution 24114 was we're going to name the Leeville boat launch. And it's going to be named, this is official now. This has been approved by the council. And it's going to be named the Tara Jean Melanson boat launch. And resolution 24115 naming the Leeville Pier John Boudreaux Pier. And this was brought to my attention and Mr. Chasson, the parish president's attention, by 2 young ladies about a year ago. We looked at it, and Mr. Chasson was pretty fair on this. He talked to me about it, and he says, well, let's think about it and see about, you know, when you name something, you're always going to leave somebody out. But you can't name everything after everybody. But there's a lot of things that are named. To me, it's an honor. It's an honor for the kids, the grandkids, the great-grandkids, whatever. And so we talked about it, and I said I didn't have a problem with it. He said it was in my district, so I really had to agree with it, you know, which was very nice. So I said, so it worked out. So what these Melanson sisters did, they gave us a donation of $25,000. And if you look under Highway 90, you got this exercise fitness that was donated to the parish from St. Anne and Oshner. Well, we're going to get one like that and put it in Golden Meadow. This is $25,000. They agreed to let us give it to the town, and we're going to put a down payment on that ride because that ride costs $50,000. So they're going to find the other $25,000 wherever. Okay, so that's going to be done. And if you know anybody wants to go fishing, the lights are on, everything's ready to go, and we're going to have a little ribbon ceremony deal, and I'm going to invite all of you guys and also invite the public. And like I said, if anybody wants to go fishing, the lights are on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Then we're going into committees. First, we're going to executive committee. Members are Chucky Sherry, Chairman, Rodney J. Gisclair, Larry Griffin, and Jimmy LaFont. All right, first we have consider approving the quit claim with Patrick, Michael, and Peter Pete to property around Fouchon Ops and facilities.
All right, we've been discussing this, Bryce.
Yes, this is the estate of Martial Pete issue we've been talking about. This would resolve a potential claim to property around the EOC and the Op Center.
Recommendation to approve.
Move by Mr. John Millison, second by T. Jim Lafont. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, next, consider approving the request from Port Fourchon Marina to assignment of leases GLF 103, 94, and 98.
All right, Port Fourchon Marina is requesting for us to assign their leases that were just mentioned to Fourchon Marina LLC, which is the official name
No.
of those folks. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Rodney Gisclair, second by Reggie Ledet. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the request from Port Fourchon Marina for a lease hold mortgage for GLF 103-1994 and 1998.
All right, this is as part of the finance process. Recommendation to approve.
I need a motion. Moved by Mr. Larry Griffin, second by Chris Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the lease with C Logistics LLC for site on Fourchon Island.
Okay, the next three items are all for leases on Fourchon Island. You can see on the picture the Bollinger facility, the C Logistics facility on, in essence, we'll just call it the north side, but it's the east side really, but it's the north side of the slip. And then the GIS section on the south side, which leaves about another 50% of Fourchon Island slip available. And this is really some preliminary leases. We're continuing to negotiate, but the point of the matter is as we move forward in this feed study that we're doing to try to get costs of what it's going to be to put this in place. We're waiting on our permits to build the bridge and to start the initial development of Fourchon Island. We need to start working together. These three entities are looking to try to find business for Fourchon Island, and we need to start looking at funding capabilities. So this gets us leases in place so we continue to move forward and try to put all of these attract businesses or for them to attract customers and us to try to find funds to develop that site. And as we move forward in trying to get 50-foot of draft, this is all this is critical as part of that process.
All right. Any questions? I need a motion. Moved by Mike Colley, second by Rodney Gisclair. Any discussions? Any public comments?
I will abstain, Mr. President.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We have all approved and one abstained by Mr. Reggie Ledet. Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the lease with GIS LLC for site on Fourchon Island.
Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment?
I will abstain, Mr. President.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? We have all in favor except one, Mr. Reggie Ledet abstains. Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the lease with Bollinger Fourchon LLC for site on Fourchon Island.
Recommendation to approve.
Okay, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Jim Lafont, second by Mr. Rodney Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment?
Once again, I will abstain.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, we have all in favor with one abstained by Mr. Reggie Ledet. Motion passed. All right, that finishes up with executive meeting. We don't have anything in permits and waterways committee. Sorry, Mr. Rod.
That's okay.
Next, we're going to construction and development committee. I mean, so everything's
I'll be
good.
glad to give the floor to construction and development.
All right. Well, we're going construction and development. Members are Chris Colley, chairman, Mike Colley, Jim Lafont, Chucky Sherman. Mr. Colley, your turn.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President. First, we'll start with consider approving partial substantial completion certificate from Coastal Dredging Company for the Leeville LA1 Construction Canal Dredging and Mitigation Project.
All right, this is 1,500 more feet for substantial completion. Recommendation to approve, Mr. President.
All right, got a motion by Mr. Chris Collier, second by Jimmy LaFont. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion pass.
Our final item is to consider rejecting the bid for the Fushon Beach project.
As we've been discussing, recommendation is to reject these bids.
Need a motion?
Move.
Moved by Chris Collier, second by Reggie Leggett. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion pass.
Mr. President, this concludes the Construction and Development Committee report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Collier. We're going into Finance Committee. Members are John Mellison, Jr., Chairman, Larry Griffin, Chris Collier, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Mellison, your turn.
All right, thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. We'll begin by consider approving payment of the March 2024 invoices and recognizing those over $25,000. And we'll begin with Sea-Level Construction, $694,839.10. And that's for the Airport Connector Road and Bridge Project. Next, we have Coastal Dredging Company Incorporated, $383,577.26. That's for LA1 Phase 2 Construction, Canal Dredging, and Marsh Creation. Item 3, GIS Engineering, $265,908.96. And that's for Port Fourchon Marsh Creation Project, Port Fourchon Island Feed Study, Belpass Channel Deepening, and General Engineering. Next, we have Angelet Design LLC, $110,619.85. And that's for the Biolofution Flotation Canal Bulkhead, along with the LA1 Phase 2 Construction Canal Dredging and Mitigation. Item 5, Lafourche Parish Fire District Number 3, $100,880.03. That's for an intergovernmental agreement. And last, we have Grand Isle Shipyard, $45,047.19, and that's for limestone for site development and boat launch upgrade, along with contract labor at the airport. These expenditures with the rest brings us to a total of $2,727,207.01. And Mr. Griffin, if I got that right, I'd like to make a motion, Mr. President, to approve this if I got that right. All right, it's good to have you back.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I got a motion by Mr. John Mellison, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, Mr. President, we have consider approving the March 2024 preliminary unaudited financial statements as discussed in Monday night's committee meeting, and I'd like to make a motion we approve these.
All right. Got a motion by Mr. John Mellison, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
And last, we have consider approving out-of-state travel and training request. We have Director of IT, John Crochet, attending the American Association of Port Authorities in Seattle, Washington, July 9th through the 12th, 2024. Mr. Director, we were talking about adding you on to go to Washington.
Yeah, that was already approved.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we accept these out-of-state travel and training.
All right. I got a motion by Mr. John Mellison, second by Mr. Jim LaFont. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this concludes the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Mellison. I appreciate that. Any other business? Any public comment? I got one thing to say. Mr. Griffin, glad to have you back.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be back.
I'm glad we're going to, I know I've been calling, I've been informing the board, but I want to tell you, I'm glad to have you back.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad y'all can see me instead of seeing me.
That's right. You're right about that.
You know, Chuck, we always miss his wisdom, and so Larry's a big part of our history and reminding us when the younger commissioners go the wrong way, and we really appreciate you working with us to get a lot of that done, Larry. You will miss for those few days. Glad to have you back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we
Thank
really
you very
do.
much.
Very
It's
good.
good to be back.
All right. Any other public comment? I got
Until we adjourn, Mr. President.
a motion by Mr. Jim LaFont, second by Mr. Reggie Leggett. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Thanks everyone for coming to the meeting. Y'all have a safe, enjoyable summer. I hope everybody's Easter was good. Enjoy the summer and be careful. Meeting adjourned.